You're listening to the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman, episode 36. Well, hello and welcome to today's Small and Supercharged podcast. It is a solo with me, and I hope you're going to enjoy this one. It's a subject that I did an Instagram TV video on, and it did really, really well in terms of views and comments. And then I had people reaching out and asking me for more information on this. So it's basically, we're going to talk about hiding likes on Instagram. Now, this is something that Facebook is currently testing, well, Facebook own Instagram, so Facebook/Instagram, we'll just say Instagram. I'll probably use them interchangeably in this podcast. But Instagram is testing in Canada at the moment. So I just want to explain what is being tested. Also, I'm kind of talking about this from the reading I've done, and let's be honest, I've done a lot of reading about it. I've seen a lot of people's opinions on it. So this is my spin on it based on the reading I've done and the information I've gathered. But I hope that when you listen to what I'm rambling on about, it might just make you think about it a bit differently. And I think it's important that when things change on social media platforms, our first response isn't to get cross or think the end is nigh. It's to think, okay, why are they doing this? How can I make sure that my content still works in this new area? Because we don't own these platforms, which I will witter on about, I always do. But that's how I look at it. I see it as a new little challenge, and one that hopefully is going to make things better, because there's usually a good reason behind why they do these things. So first of all, let's explain what I'm on about with hiding likes. So there's quite a lot of buzz online about it at the moment. Instagram is testing in Canada hiding likes on a post. So now if you look at Instagram, underneath a picture, you'll see basically a count of how many people have liked your post. And the move will mean that it'll say maybe a few names and others. And that will be all I could see if I looked at your post. You will be able to look in and see who's liked it. But from the outside, that's all that I would be able to see if it was your post. So this is an interesting move because a lot of people do judge a post and its quality on how many likes it gets. And if you're playing the game correctly, by which I mean you're not using bots or you're not paying for likes, that is one indication. But obviously there are other indications as well, which are genuinely, I believe, a lot more important, and ones that I think will come to the fore much better if this gets rolled out. And that's another point. This is in testing at the moment. This doesn't mean it's going to happen. This means it's being explored as an option. And that's another reason we shouldn't be getting too upset. So it's testing in Canada. And the idea behind it is to make Instagram a less pressurized environment and to allow people to be more creative and express themselves in a better way on the platform. Because I think that, again, from the reading I've done, people really do, and I do it too actually. I think about the content I put out and I'm obviously analysing it in my head for a lot of different things. And one of them is its popularity. Will people actually like this post? And often, as I've said a few times, my account is I just test everything on my poor account. So my client's account, I wouldn't dare test things on, quite rightly. But my account is, I'll see something or think of something and I will test it. So that's why it's like it is. But if you are really worried about the testing phase, if you're worried you're going to put up a post and it's not going to be well received, you're not going to necessarily do it if you're that obsessed with that like count, if that is really the thing that's fueling you. So hopefully, if the hiding likes theory did happen, Instagram are allowing people to test more things, to be more creative, to try different forms of content that they don't necessarily know is going to get all the likes and do really, really well. Now, I do like a bit of testing, so I think that's a really, really positive thing. I do also think the pressure angle is really important because I do worry, not like sleepless nights worry, but when I was growing up in the good old days, I didn't have this kind of pressure. about whether if I put a picture on Instagram, are people going to like it, and how that would then affect how I felt about myself. I was too obsessed with horses, to be quite honest, but what didn't even exist. Social media wasn't a thing when I was that age. But nowadays, people who are, teenagers are getting really stressed about this kind of stuff. And it's not a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. It obviously is a thing, but it shouldn't be a thing that people can take such huge... Basically, it has an impact on their self-worth and how they feel about themselves as people, whether or not someone likes a picture of what they put up. It's not a reflection of their life. It's a snapshot in time. And it can obviously have seriously detrimental impacts on people's mental health, which is a whole different subject to talk about. But the likes angle is definitely a part of that. Now, obviously, on the flip side, talking about a brand point of view, one of the things that people look for, that brands look for, is engagement on posts. It's how many follows, an account has, how many likes your average is on images, what your engagement is on your posts, and all those kind of things. So from a brand point of view, it's going to be a bit more difficult to assess good and bad ambassadors or good and bad influencers to work with. But I have to say that likes aren't the most reliable thing to be looking at. And if you look at particularly more of the micro influencers, their engagement in terms of people actually taking the time to write a comment is so good. And it means that not only has somebody gone, oh, that's a nice picture, tap, tap, they've actually taken the time to read the caption, to think about the caption, and to comment on the caption. Now, if you're a brand, I would take 10 people that had commented over thousands that have liked it, because they could have just liked the picture. And when you scroll down your Instagram feed, you have a big picture, hopefully, and then you maybe have a couple of lines of text. So you're not actually having to open up the full caption and read it if you double tap on it. So if you like it, you can do it really quickly. And I'm not saying you shouldn't like things. You should. It helps people. It gives them a boost. And if you like a picture, double tap on it, please. But I'm just saying that in terms of the kind of engagement that is likely to create a conversion, if you're a brand, you want the people who are asking questions, who are saying, oh, that's really lovely. Do you think it'd work for me? Oh, does it come in different colours? Oh, what size do you have? Oh, this, oh, that. The kind of questions that means someone is actually interested in what you're talking about. And I'm hoping that if the hiding likes does get rolled out across more platforms, across more countries on this platform, that's what people will be looking for. People will be thinking about creating content that engages on a much deeper level, on a level where people want to ask questions or compliment you for what you've done, not in a kind of spammy, love this content, DM us for a collaboration. Oh my good Lord, there have been so many of those lately. But on a way that actually shows they've looked at it. And as someone that obviously creates content for myself and a lot of brands, I love that. If I'm getting someone putting the time in to leave a comment and to ask me a question or to pay a compliment to the brand or the product, I think I've done a good job there. I've created something that they have taken the time to read and taken the time to comment on. And where time is a really, really limited resource, and one that we all wish we had more of, someone who's actually taken the time to blooming well type something, to me, that's really, really good. And that's the kind of engagement we want to be looking for. The likes are lovely, but the true engagement, the messaging people, the commenting on captions, that's what we should be trying to nurture. Really, really should. And it does take more time to do this, and then it takes time to reply to them. But it is better to have less of these really good posts that actually do a job than ones that just gather pace. Because to be honest, if you want to just get quick likes, put up some hilarious, either, kittens, puppies, something funny with no substance, funny picture, funny meme, I can never pronounce that doesn't actually connect with what you're talking about or any of your values. But if you want a quick win, that's what you do. But can you see that doesn't really have any value? If you've got a picture of a cute kitten and you sell holiday homes, I'm just trying to be quite diverse here. You might get a lot of likes on that picture of the kitten because kittens are cute. If it's, kitten, there's a quote, isn't there? Kitten hanging on to a bit of wood, and it says about, success is when people hang on for longer, or don't let go, or something. I can't remember. Anyway, that's probably going to get you quite a few likes. But does it have anything to do with your luxury holiday homes that you're trying to sell? No, not unless it's your kitten and you can storytell around the fact that it lives at the holiday park. But generally, if your only ambition is to get likes, your content would be completely different and wouldn't actually help with the overall picture of building your brand, of getting the conversions, of getting sales or whatever. That's I think something to think about anyway, put it that way. So hopefully it'll lead to better engagement and much better content, which is what we want, which means that when we look at these platforms, it's a much better experience for the user. Of course, it is going to be harder work for the people that, are putting their content out there, the influencers, etc., etc. But if we are moving more towards a quality over quantity mindset and strategy, which I think is a real win, that I think would be really positive as well, and would allow different posts and different content to get seen, and to people to form these genuine connections in real life as well. I mean, if I think about our Hi Ho Silver brand ambassadors, I work with Hi Ho Silver. The ambassadors, a number of them are so supportive of each other, and if you look at let's talk about Instagram still, they put up their posts on Instagram, and lots of the other ambassadors are so positive about their content and they share things. So there was a beautiful picture not that long ago, and it was the one actually that Hi Ho picked as the Hi Ho Backdrops winner, which was by someone who isn't an ambassador actually, but incredible, a girl and a gun. And the ambassadors were all over it saying how brilliant she was. And the picture was beautiful, but that's real community. And these are the people that when they all went to badminton together, they met up and they had a chat, and I assume they had a drink or something to eat, but they're making real connections because yes, they're double tapping on the picture, but they're also blooming well commenting on the picture. And they weren't asked to do that. They did that because they liked the picture and they're friends with Terry Ann. So it just helps to really create better, proper, true relationships. And I think that's something we need to be trying to work towards. So I think for brands, they might be getting a bit tense about it, but I honestly think it's nothing to really be tense about. I think it's just a way of changing and a different way of working. And I think it keeps reinforcing the fact that we don't own these platforms. So when Facebook and Instagram had their wobble and went down, which was one of the most stressful few hours of my life, it really, really reinforced the fact that these platforms are amazing, but you cannot have them as your only online hub. And when they make changes within the platforms for whatever reason, whether you like the changes or you don't like the changes, unfortunately, there is just nothing that you can do about it. All you can do, you can't change their views if they're going to do it or not. They'll run things as tests and then they'll look at the test results and they'll decide whether or not that's something they want to do. The only thing you can do is adapt and go with it. That is literally the only choice. No, actually, you can adapt and go with it, or you can just stop using the platform. They're the only choices out there. There's not I'll pop a letter of complaint in about how I want to see my likes, because it won't work. I mean, you could do it if you want, but people will waste your time. It'd be much better you trying to create the content that would get the engagement than it would writing a letter about how you're cross because you can't see because people can't see your own likes. I read something actually which I thought was a brilliant quote, and I can't remember where it was now, but it basically said that likes have been fake currency for a long time. And I loved that because the likes are part of how you assess how a post has been, how the post has performed, if people like the post, but it's actually a really small element of it for all the reasons I've just described. And I liked the way that it's saying, well, yeah, it's kind of visual currency, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same animal. So yes, going back to the point that you can't have your social media platforms as your only online home because you don't own them. You're not even paying rent on them. You're just loitering. And that's great. That's what that's why they're there. They're there to be used and enjoyed and allow real, true connection and all of these things, but you don't own them. And that's why creating a website hub, which is your own owned online space, cannot be underestimated. It really, really can't. I'm going to do a few little following podcasts on websites, because I'm not an expert on websites, but I have my website hosted by some lovely people over at Worcester Web Studio, and the chap I deal with is called Ray. He is lovely. And I mean, I pay him, this isn't a sponsored thing, but I'm actually going to record a podcast with him in a few weeks from now. But by the time you hear it, it'll be a few more weeks on, because we've got some absolute corkers in the pipeline as well. And I'm going to be asking him questions about like the more technical side of things, so like hosting, web design, that kind of thing. But what I do know from my experience, I mean, I've had a website for, I want to say 11 years now, and it has changed quite a bit. And now it's built on a WordPress theme. I have had a paid for theme this time. Did I have a paid for theme before? I don't know. You can get free themes on WordPress, and there are other things out there. I've heard Wix. I've heard quite a lot of people talk very favourably about Wix. I heard someone really positive about Squarespace the other day, but my website's on WordPress, so I know more about WordPress than anything else. But you can get themes that are basically like your template for your website that you then can change the colours of, select the fonts of, tweak the layout of, all these things. And they range from free to, I think mine was something like $65. So not silly money. I did then pay for a web designer to customize it for me. But I could probably, I mean, that was quite a while ago now. And I do have it tweaked sometimes. So it's just actually had a tweak now by the web designer, because although I'm actually quite good on WordPress most of the time, but some things happen and I'm like, I don't know how to fix that. And I'll find out how to fix it. But the amount of hours it'll take me to do that versus the other work I could do in that time, I just decided it was better to pay my web people to do it. But the point is, if you have got some time available I know WordPress, and I know that Wix do a lot of promotion around how easy their website is. You can create your own website for free or very little money. You can get it hosted for very little money. And I think at WordPress, if you include the WordPress word in your website name, I think it's free. I don't know all these facts exactly. This is what I believe to be true. And when I do the proper podcast, I will do a lot more research. But you can get yourself an online home for free or very little money, let's just say. And that is the point where you have that as your absolute hub, and you use your social media to promote what you do and who you are. But the aim, and when you put your link in the bio on Instagram, or when you add links to your posts on Facebook, that's where they're heading. They are heading back to your website, or to, I know, even sometimes another social media channel. But your website is where a lot of this stuff is pointing and heading. And you can customize that however you like. I mean, there's more talk about, and actually I have noticed on my tablet version, my mobile version of the Facebook website, the design's changed. And I hear it is changing. They're going to tweak it in different places as well to have more focus on different areas. So my desktop version is currently absolutely fine and as normal, but my mobile version, there we go, good Lord, has changed visually. With your own website, you can make it exactly how you want it to look. Yes, if you've got a theme, you have got restrictions, but you can have it however you want it to look. And you're in no doubt that something that you want to be visible is going to stay visible, because it'll not be visible when you decide it won't be visible. You won't just wake up one day, look at your website and go, oh, that's not how I left it. Oh, well, the colours have changed. Oh, it's moved everything around. Oh, those 3 sections have disappeared. I mean, top tip, if that does happen, something's gone horribly wrong and you need to contact your web designer or your host and say, what the hell? You can make it exactly how you want it to look. You can have the tabs on it you want it to have. You can lead people on a journey that you construct, that you create and design for them. You can't do that with the social media platforms because they're not yours. So you can absolutely embrace them. And I encourage everybody to get on social media and use the heck out of it, because it is such a great, amazing, incredible tool. And we are so, so lucky to be able to have this tool that we can reach thousands up to billions. I mean, there's it was 2.2. I'm sure it's grown now. Monthly active users on Facebook. And last time I looked, there's about 7.6-ish billion people on the planet. So if I could do maths, which I can't, it's over 25%, isn't it? Yes. Over 25% of the global population of the whole world is on Facebook every month. And we can access that for free. And Instagram, last time I heard they'd broken the 1 billion monthly active users. 1 billion people are on that one platform, and we can potentially reach them for free. Yet we need to work our backsides off on the content. We need to get hashtags really working for us. We need to use all the tools if we're talking about Instagram. But we have the chance to reach those people for free. And if you want to pay and get a bit of advertising going or boosting posts, brilliant. You can do it for pounds a day. You could not do that before. So we are so lucky to have these platforms. And yes, we have to adapt and change and grow. And that's exactly what they're doing. Instagram's doing this, I genuinely believe, from everything I've read, to create a much better environment for the people that they're working with, the people that are using their platform each day. They're looking for a way to really allow people to enjoy it and feel less pressurized, and allow them to be more creative and enjoy it more and appreciate it more. And a way that they think that this might happen is by taking the likes count off a post. I have to say, I'm genuinely not in the least bit concerned about this happening if it does happen. I think it could be really positive. The fact that I can see in the back end how many likes a post has got is great. So I can keep a track of things that are working, things that aren't working. But you miss that kind of, oh God, but if it doesn't work, I'm going to look silly angle, because it doesn't matter. No one else can see it. And if that's a concern of yours, if you are worried about what people think about how many likes a post has got, you should be really willing to embrace this. Because, it's happening. If it does happen, it's happening. If they decide that it's happening, that's what'll happen. But if not, it's just, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You can still see it. You can still do all the analytics. You can judge if something's been a success or not. But it's between you and, you and Instagram. It's not between the rest of the world as well. And if you want to be pitching yourself as an influencer, don't let it bother you. There are other metrics that you can show that are really obviously visible, and you can share the information about your average post likes or your average engagement rate on, your media pack or rate card or anything like that. Don't fear this. It's no point in fearing it, because it's happening, and we still have access to this incredible platform that has allowed a whole new breed of people. Social media influencers weren't a thing when there wasn't any social media. So if we're having to adapt and change a little bit, so be it. If as brands we're having to look into much more detail on people, as we should have been doing anyway, let's do it. So if Instagram rolls out hiding likes across everyone's platforms, please don't fear it. Embrace it. Use it as a kick at the backside to make sure that you've got your website up and running and you're putting the time into making that a real content hub for you. But please, please don't fear it. Embrace it and enjoy the freedom and the less pressurized environment that Instagram has tried to create with this change. As I say, if it gets rolled out, which it might not do, but we know they're testing it in Canada at the moment. So there you go. That is today's podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I said, there's an IGTV video over on my IGTV, obviously, no surprises there, which people are really enjoying. And I would really love to hear your thoughts on it. You can go and have a look at the IGTV video and you can comment on that. That would be brilliant. I would love to hear your views on hiding likes and whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, your concerns or your worries. And also, as I say, I am recording a podcast. It'll be actually on the Friday after you hear this one, I think. Unless I've really messed up all the days. But send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook, or you can always email me. I'm Ria, RHEA, at riafreemanpr.co.uk with your questions relating to websites, and I will ask my man Ray all about that. If you like this podcast, it would be amazing if you would take a screenshot and pop it on your social media, an Instagram story, tag me. I'm at Ria Freeman PR, and I do my best to share those, so please do that. And if you'd like to leave a review, please put it on iTunes. I'd be so grateful. I love hearing from you. I love it when I hear that the little tips that you've picked up in these podcasts is really changing the game for you, and it's helping you progress forward with your business or your blog. Literally it's helping people make their business, and that's so amazing to hear. So please do leave a review. I'd be really grateful, and do take a little screenshot where you're listening. It's nice to see where everyone is, isn't it? So thank you so much, and we will catch up very soon. Take care.